Welcome to Five or Flop, a podcast for the best and worst historical fiction has to offer. I'm your host, Erin.
And I'm Grace, and each week we'll be doing something related to the historical fiction books we read last season.
Because we are now in our bonus episodes.
And this is the second bonus episode, and it's our first adaptation of a book. We watched Catherine Called Birdy.
Yes, we did. Famously, as we discussed in the episode, this was it 2021?
2022, I think.
2022, the Lena Dunham film of Catherine Called Birdy, famed. I think it was a flop.
I thought it was fine.
Famed mid to flop novel from earlier this season. So this is the one with the really stacked cast, and I do think we need to start there.
Yeah, it was number one on our to-watch list for a reason. Every time we have the bonus episodes, there are more adaptations than we can watch, as you all remember from season 2. So we have to gather everything and then whittle it down. Sorry, the Johnny Tremaine movie from the 1950s did not make the cut.
Unfortunately.
But we watched Catherine Called Birdy, of course, directed by Lena Dunham of Girls, starring, oh my god, I'm blanking on their name.
Bella Ramsey,
Ellie from The Last of Us.
And also of Game of Thrones, which I don't know what their character name was. I made it like one season into Game of Thrones. I'm like, this is the worst thing in the world.
So, yeah, not for us.
Joe Alwyn, Taylor Swift's ex-boyfriend.
And not anything else, unfortunately.
Sometimes referred to as Yogurt Boy on Twitter.
Why?
Because in the song Invisible String, where she talks about like the color of the shirt he wore when he worked in the yogurt shop. That's why.
Okay.
That's why. But it's not like affectionately called that anymore.
Yeah. Andrew Scott of conversely being Hot Priest from Fleabag and Moriarty from Sherlock.
There was also Russell Brand in it for like the barest moment in time.
Yeah, there was Russell Brand in it. First of all, we didn't even know that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, he really just showed up like, it's like he was in town for the day.
Yeah.
And Lena Dunham was like, do you want to be in my movie for one scene?
That's what it felt like. It's like how that one time when Santiago got home from class while we were filming the pod, we're like, hey, do you want to pop into our podcast? And then we also had, I don't even know the actress's name.
Billy Piper,
Rose Tyler from Doctor who did not look familiar to me at all.
I didn't recognize her. Someone had to point her out. She had, okay, to get into the content of the film, the craziest eyebrows in this movie.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
That ABH brow pomade.
Yeah, like, when people during the height of, beauty YouTube, what James Charles used to look like? Oh, yeah. That's what Billy Piper looked like.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I don't know why they chose to do that. No one else looked like that.
Especially for the time period this is set in, which is just somewhere 1200-ish, probably.
Yeah, they did describe what county in England it was, but I don't remember. Maybe Kent?
Some of us took notes while watching the movie.
I winged it.
However, my notes are crazy. One of them just said, Catherine is like if Flynn was a person. So
Flynn is a very easy target for comparison.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. She has such a strong personality.
Yeah. I think the result of the movie is honestly kind of inverse from the book, where I like the book more, and I think you like the film more.
I think, I had a fun time watching the film.
Mm-hmm.
They changed a lot in the film. Some small, some big things.
See, I feel like they really only changed the ending.
Well, they added in Perkins being gay.
Okay, yeah.
Perkins got a gay subplot.
That was so funny. Because that scene comes very late in the film.
And there was no reason for it.
And also, the role of Perkin in the film is extremely reduced. Mm-hmm. Like, in the book, I would say Perkin is like a top-tier secondary character.
Oh, yeah.
He does not appear that much in the book. And there's just this one scene when Catherine is facing being married off to Shaggy Beard. And she's like, Perkin, we can run away and get married. And he's like, I can't marry you because I'm gay. Which is funny, because that in 1200, it does not mean that.
No.
However, good for Perkin for being himself.
So I think there's a couple things I want to touch on overall in this episode. Some related to the changes, some not. Definitely we'll get to the ending, because that's a big change.
That was the big change.
I also want to get to why I liked this better and why you liked it less.
Yeah.
And I think we need to start with just the absolutely insane soundtrack.
Okay, yeah. It was on the nose pop song Palooza.
Okay, when she's in love with her uncle, Joe Alwyn, they played the song My Boyfriend's Back.
A classic song.
That was criminal.
Yeah, in case you couldn't figure it out, sorry. Andrew Scott is her dad, and Billy Piper is her mom. Joe Alwyn is hot Uncle George.
And Andrew Scott, carried the film. So good. I loved him.
Andrew Scott, I feel like the only other thing that they did, and this ties into the ending, so we'll get into it later, his character was much different.
Yes.
Like, Birdy, exact same as in the book. The mom, exactly the same as in the book. Like, her best friend, exactly the same.
Everything else character-wise.
Yeah.
Except for the dad.
The dad was very different.
The dad was so funny to me.
Yeah. They definitely gave him a lot to do because Andrew Scott was very good and having a lot of fun.
Yes. Like, you could tell he enjoyed himself.
Yeah. He was running around wearing his, like, robes made out of extremely expensive fabric. Yeah. He looked like he was Vanessa Hudgens at Coachella, basically.
So, something that, and this I guess is kind of something that worked for me in the book, but it worked better for me in the movie, were all those scenes when Catherine was just, like, trying to get away from having suitors the entire time, which was the one moment Russell Brand was in. He was one of the suitors that she turned away by being like, Catherine, you mean that hideous, ugly, evil lady?
Yeah. He played it off well. Like, I don't like Russell Brand, but he did a good job.
No, but he was amusing in the role, for sure.
Yeah.
I think they played it off much better in the movie, these scenes, because they were amusing enough in the book, but then, like, seeing it happen worked so well for me.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but something that might have helped the book or the movie work better than the book for you is that it's the same, up until you get to the end, it's the exact same plot, but the filler's removed. There was way less padding, which is crazy because the book's not long and the movie's not that short.
No.
So I don't understand how it's the same amount of content when you take a bunch out from the book.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. They didn't take out any plot points, but because it's written in the form of Catherine's diary, you get a lot of filler chapters that are just like rolled in the mud with Perkin today, and then you move on.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just, the movie was snappier for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the new ending was better or worse for me. But I think we have a lot of time and a lot to say about the ending here.
Yeah.
So it might make sense to jump into it early.
We had unresolved feelings about the ending in the book. I do think it was better than what we got in the movie.
Can you give a refresher of the book ending for our audience?
Sure. So Catherine has the silver that Shaggy Beard has given her. And basically the contrivance is, like, once you cave and you spend this on something, that's your consent to being engaged to me. And that is also true in the film, that contrivance carries through. In the book, Catherine kind of has a revelation when she decides to spend the silver to save a bear from being used in a bear baiting and tortured and killed, that she can do good for others. And just because bad things might happen to her, that doesn't mean she has to lose part of herself, that she has a role in the world that's been given to her, but she can still do the best that she can with it.
Yes.
And then our question about that ending was that basically she's rewarded in the narrative for that realization by being married to Shaggy Beard's hot son instead.
After Shaggy Beard dies.
Yeah, so there's nothing, like, in the world that's different. She just comes to a realization inside of herself and then is given an external reward.
Yes.
So, would you like to describe what happens in the film?
Yes. So in the film, we're at the same point with the silver, right?
Yes.
And as we know, her family is, like, broke.
Yes.
And I think that was also true in the book. I don't think it was emphasized as much in the book.
It was true in the book. I don't think the point was quite as directly, Catherine has to get married now because we need money now.
Yeah, it wasn't the same
much
emphasis.
More vaguely like, well, we need money and our daughter needs to get married. So it's two birds, one stone.
Exactly. No, but in the movie, it was a lot more pressing. And her older brother in the movie is in love with her best friend.
Yes.
And her best friend reciprocates those feelings and they want to get married. But her best friend's father is like, you do not have enough money for this.
Yeah. You need to give me more money so that your son can marry my daughter.
Yes. So that's what Catherine spends her silver on in the movie.
Which is quite nice.
Which is quite nice. So because of that, she goes to get married to Shaggy Beard, and they are going to get married until the entire town riots at the carriage, and then he duels her father.
Yeah, so the dad shows up and is like, I'm going to duel you to get my daughter back. And after Shaggy Beard is like, okay, you can have your daughter back if you give me back the money that I gave you for her. And he's like, well, I already spent your money.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, then no. Then Rollo challenges him to a duel, which apparently then the issues of the money are just erased because you're having a duel.
Yes.
Shaggy Beard throws out his back immediately and gives up.
Mm-hmm.
So then they get Catherine back. So it's none of the money problems are solved. And then also you don't really know what caused this change of heart in her dad, because she's been trying to not get married for a while.
Yeah. Like, it's just very sudden, and I guess you could, like, there's one route of logic you could go where it's okay because he saw her do this action with giving the money for her brother, but that's not a strong tie in the movie.
No, they don't make that connection. I think part of this, I think there's two reasons that they did this. One, I think, is just because the ending from the book doesn't give you anything to film, really.
Yeah.
And also the connection with Catherine and the bear. It's like a journey where the bear represents something like within her.
Yeah.
But filming it on screen, you might just be like, all this for a bear that we've never met before.
It would have to be a lot of like her narrating over Catherine. Like, it would have to be a lot over. Yeah, it would have to be a lot of her internal narration over herself just kind of walking and looking at a bear. And that wouldn't have as much of a punch.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I think, and this was what I would call the other change. It's not that pronounced, but it definitely is a change. Catherine's dad is a much nicer character.
Oh, yeah.
So I think either Andrew Scott didn't want, or they didn't want it once they hired Andrew Scott. They didn't want him to be that bad. He's still, don't get me wrong, like does a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah.
But he saves his daughter at the end. And also they have this very long and dramatic scene where Billy Piper is dying in childbirth. And they like tell him like, we're going to get a priest in here to say last rites for your wife and the child. And he like basically gives her a motivational speech that's so powerful that she doesn't die in childbirth.
Oh, it was insane.
Yeah. Like it was extremely long. It was extremely dramatic, and it like worked. So that's that scene, especially a scene where Catherine is not a pivotal character. Like she's there, but she doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Makes you realize, that they're placing emphasis on the difference in the character of the dad. And that was part of the book where the dad's like most redeeming quality was he clearly had love for the mom.
Yeah.
But because again, you're in Catherine's perspective, you're not seeing that.
It doesn't carry the weight.
You're not seeing that most of it. So I think the ending was to serve the purpose of making Andrew Scott more likable.
Except, and I'm going to read my Letterboxd review at this point, because we talk about all of this, and and for me, I did enjoy it, and I enjoyed it a lot more. However, the town is so fucked at the end of this, and what I have written is, they're literally worse off than before, and the town should hate her, but this was still better than the book, in my opinion. But she is a menace in this house. Like, she is horrible. This town has no money because their lord has no money, and she just keeps making it worse for them.
Yeah.
She like set shit on fire. Like she's a nightmare.
She is. Yeah. I would not want to deal with her.
No.
That's, I think, the thing that made the movie, it wasn't a terrible movie. It was okay. But that made the movie not work for me as much as the book did was that in the book, as in the film, everyone kind of sucks and they're like pretty disgusting. But in the book, you don't have to see it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's kind of the thing. I'm like, this is kind of the same, but now I just have to visualize all of this terrible stuff.
I see the point.
I do think that Bella Ramsey as Catherine called Birdy is like a top tier casting of all time.
Oh, Bella Ramsey, they were phenomenal in this role.
It was so good. Like, it's going up there with like, I don't know, what's good casting? Gone Girl.
Hugh Jackman in
Snowflower. Exactly. Like, top of all time, like, great job to either Lena Dunham or whoever she hired to do that.
Let's talk about some of the other casting on the subject.
Okay.
Andrew Scott, great. Phenomenal. I thought he was so good in that role.
Yep.
Billy Piper.
Fine. I will say that is not a role that I think gives you a lot.
No.
I think any female actress between 30 and 50 would have done a completely serviceable job. Yeah, it's just agreed. A role where you're just like a mom and you have to give birth twice.
Joe Alwyn, I think, was actually very well cast because he is just like so depressed and sullen looking at all times, and that was the character.
No, literally. Like, Joe Alwyn, now that he's been in this movie, he is the exact type of handsome where you're like, you would be the hottest person in 1200. Like, it's not even absolutely. Close. Like, absolutely. But also the thing about Hot Uncle George is he's also like vaguely depressed at all times.
Oh, yeah, because he's married to an older widow woman.
Yeah, he's married to that older woman, and also he comes back from the Crusades.
Oh, yeah, so he's PTSD.
Yeah.
So he's not doing well.
Yeah, Joe Alwyn, honestly, perfect casting for that.
he was great casting in that.
So, yeah, wonderful job.
I thought the brothers were good. Overall, I think this movie had very good casting.
Yeah.
That was probably one of its main strengths.
Yeah. Not that many other people that we haven't talked about have spoken. The best friend was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the relationship between Birdy and her friend because you saw like the realities of like petty girlhood friendship, but also then the specific situations of like, oh no, your best friend had to just get married to a 9-year-old boy.
Yeah, right. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Something I'm thinking about now, and we'd have to go back and check. This whole episode, we've been calling her Catherine. Did we do that in the book episode, or did we call her Birdy?
You know, I don't know. They brought up the Birdy thing a couple of times. Like, we saw her birds. Like, at the end of the movie, she lets her birds free.
I liked that.
And she's writing in the journal for her monk brother, which you do see.
Oh my god. The greatest scene in the movie is when she goes and she's like, there's going to be all these old men monks. And then it's all just like these really hot guys.
Young, hot monks. Funny. It was very funny.
That was the best part, I think.
That's when they should have played My Boyfriend's Back.
Yeah, right.
But so she does say, like, signing off in her diary a couple times, Catherine called Birdy. And I think people call her Birdy, but for the most part, if it's not a member of her family, then they have to call her like Lady Catherine.
Yeah.
So, her, like, I don't know, nanny, governess.
Oh, her nursemaid.
Her nursemaid, Morwenna. She was delightful.
So good.
Yeah. I could not tell you who the actress was.
Oh, no idea.
But she did a great job. She was stern and yet likable, and I had a great time with her.
Absolutely. Yeah, the characters, I don't know. They all worked for me. I don't know. I really liked it. Oh, wait. Say your point.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say the tone of the movie was definitely something, like, it was amped up, like, Bridgerton. Like, I'm trying to compare, like, because I know that this has been a thing recently of, like, quirkily modern historical movies where they like play My Boyfriend's Back and the clothes are like slightly modernized and like it's everyone's quipping and all of that. So I think the actors that they cast really could keep up with the vibe that Lena Dunham was very clearly going for.
And now I bring to you the most important question of all of our bonus episodes.
Oh gosh, okay.
And it's 2-part. Who would Hugh Jackman play and who would Jonathan Bailey play?
Exactly. What I really want in this version, in case we weren't clear enough, the character of Shaggy Beard's hot son is not in the film.
No, I don't think we said that at all. And there's another part where another suitor does come and she thinks the suitor is the hot son, but then it's not. It's the old guy. So I was like, this is Shaggy Beard. Not at all.
I would rewrite the film to include Shaggy Beard's hot son, and then then Shaggy Beard could be Hugh Jackman, and then the hot son could be Jonathan Bailey.
That would be good, and you could just make Hugh Jackman really ugly.
He would have fun doing that. He loves to look wacky.
He would have a good time.
Yeah.
I would also say Jonathan Bailey could be a contender for the hot uncle.
Yes.
Because I think he can play that, like, angry, depressed, sad very well.
Yes.
And then I would make Hugh Jackman her dad.
I think that's the only other role.
But I wouldn't want to uncast Andrew Scott, so I would have an issue.
I do think one of the suitors is the best for Hugh Jackman because he could ham it up more. I think the type of charisma that Andrew Scott has, which is like, this is going to sound like an insult, but it definitely isn't, like a little slimy.
Yeah.
Is not the type that Hugh Jackman has.
Yeah.
Like, that comes from playing Moriarty on Sherlock and The Hot Priest and Fleabag, where you're like, you are doing something attractive, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
You know?
I get it.
I don't know. That's just not Hugh Jackman to me. But he could do it. It would just be a different interpretation.
And if he was a suitor, then he could come in and sing a little song.
Exactly.
And that could be why she was not into him.
Exactly.
So
I
think we have some good contenders there.
Yeah. And if we can only get Jonathan Bailey for like one day, because he's filming another season of Bridgerton and Wicked Part 2.
And also Fellow Travelers.
Then he could be one of the hot monks.
Yeah, that's true.
He could just come in for a day.
He could come in to be like the main
He could be the brother monk.
Yes.
He only shows up that one time.
Exactly.
And then he would get some speaking lines.
Exactly. Well, I think if I were to rate this movie, well, I can give you my actual Letterboxd rating.
Which is what?
Which was 4 stars.
Okay.
Because like I have with some of the books we've read, Bridgerton, The Other Berlin Girl, sometimes I rate things for fun.
Yeah.
And Letterboxd, I rate purely based on my enjoyment of watching the film. So it's 4 stars, which sits on the higher end of my Letterboxd ratings. I've only had this app for probably about since January.
Okay.
So there's not many things in there. However, it does beat out Hoodwinked, which we had to watch for Kat's birthday.
Had to or got to?
Had the privilege of.
Yeah. Well, I do not have Letterboxd. And I would say that this is a fine for me.
Mm-hmm.
I would not rate it. I did like the book better, but they are not that different from each other in my esteem.
That's fair. It was a pretty dramatic difference for me in terms of enjoyability.
Yeah.
Probably because I didn't have all the Saint. Oh my god, she got the Saint book in the movie and I thought she was going to start reading out Saint days.
You were so afraid.
I was afraid.
But don't worry for you. But here, are we wrapped up on our thoughts?
I think we're wrapped up.
Okay. Well, in terms of dramatic difference, let's talk about the tone of next week's bonus episode.
Whoo! All right, so we are going from high fun times to low sad times, and we are watching Ashes in the Snow, which is the movie adaptation of Between Shades of Grey, and they couldn't call it that because of the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy.
So that's something else that they've taken away from us.
Robbed, if you will.
But yes.
But yeah, and we have 2 different main characters between Catherine called Birdy and that one, so excited to discuss.
We will not be comparing and contrasting.
No, we won't. This is just for the purposes of segueing out of this episode.
Yeah. And anyway, while you're waiting for that next week, in the meantime, you can follow us on social media at @fiverflop_pod, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
You can also check out our previous reading challenges for season 3 and earlier, and our season 4 one will be launching soon, so keep an eye on social media for when that drops.
It could drop any day.
It could drop any day because we have the list ready to go. We just have not put it in Storygraph yet. It might actually be out by the time this comes out.
It's a surprise. You should check right now. If you have any queries for us, you can email us at fiverfloppodcast@gmail.com. And if there's anything you think we should be reading, feel free to fill out the recommendation form in the bios of any of our social medias.
But until next time, happy movie watching.
Bye.